Hi there, my name is Julie and I am a licensed and certified speech-language pathologist with the goal of helping you to become your child's greatest communication coach. In this video, I want to talk about something that is absolutely essential to your child's speech and language development, but often gets overlooked. Pre-linguistic skills. Now, pre-linguistic is just a fancy way of saying before the development of language. So these are skills that babies and toddlers build before they ever say a single word. They are the foundation of all communication, and they play a major role in helping children understand, connect, and eventually talk. So let's walk through the building blocks of communication from the ground up so you can better understand where your child is and how you can support them every step of the way. Let's go through 5 blocks or 5 different levels that all build upon the skill that comes before it. So we'll start at the bottom. All the way at the bottom of this pyramid, if you can imagine it, will be the environment. It all begins with the environment. So before a child can communicate, they need to be in a world where communication is happening all around them. A language-rich environment gives children the opportunity and motivation and reason to communicate. This includes hearing people talk to each other, seeing and experiencing different facial expressions and body language, hearing different tones of voice, and most importantly, having people regularly talk to and engage with the child. So here's what it looks like. Talk through your daily routines. Describe what you're doing as you go. So for instance, while changing their diaper, you could say out loud what you are doing. Okay, we're changing your diaper. Let's take it off. Where's the wipes? Oh no. Oh, here's the wipes. I'm gonna wipe. Ready, set, go. All clean. Say everything you're doing, even if it's gonna feel silly. But this is what's exposing your child to these different words, to these different sounds, to these routines, okay? So over time, they will start learning the meaning of these different words. React to their sounds and their gestures. Smile, respond, and show that you're paying attention. This is very motivating to get them to want to do it again. Use pointing and facial expressions. Help them connect words with meaning. So you'll point to your nose and say, here's my nose, here's my eyes, where's your tummy? Oh, there it is. So we're using every tool we can to really help them connect the meaning of something with the word or the object. And lastly, pause and wait for a response. So pause and wait. This one's tough for me because I'm wanting to just talk constantly and fill the space and model all these different words. But there's also so much power in just after you've said something, pausing and waiting. So even if they're not at the level yet, right, where they're not using words, still allow them a chance to take a turn. These small actions send a powerful message. What you do matters. I'm listening. So remember, little ones are absorbing so much just by being a part of that environment. And this, the environment, the opportunities that they're getting, this is the foundation that everything else is built on. So this is the bottom of that pyramid that I want you to be imagining. Before children speak, they connect with us without using words, right? So once a child is in a rich, interactive environment, they begin developing nonverbal skills, the true foundation of communication. And this is our next building block. Nonverbal skills help children connect and express themselves and participate in interactions long before they can speak. One of these nonverbal skills is eye contact. Babies naturally begin making eye contact very early on. And when you look back and you smile and you respond, it motivates them to do it even more. It's their first way of saying, I'm here, like I'm here with you. Another nonverbal skill is attention and listening. Before children can understand or use language, they first need to notice what's around them and attend to the sounds that they're hearing. So at first that might just be environmental sounds like a dog barking or the humming sound of a refrigerator. These are all new sounds to them that they're taking in and that they're noticing. Later, they start tuning into voices and then eventually tuning into the words that we're using. An important nonverbal skill is joint attention. This is when both you and your child are focusing on the same thing at the same time. Like, for instance, watching a toy that's spinning and just reacting to it. This could look like your baby sitting across from you, you put the toy in between you, and you spin it. And all the while you're watching and you're reacting. Your baby is watching the toy and they're watching you react. And so you might spin it and say, go. Wow, look at it go. Maybe it stops or it falls and you go, oh no, uh-oh. You're just watching and you're reacting. Remember, this is all new to them and it's likely blowing their mind. So in this moment, they are learning and practicing how to pay attention. And not only are they paying attention to something that interests them, but they're doing it with you. This helps them learn how to share experiences, which is key to building meaning through language. And lastly, turn taking. Think of an activity like passing a ball back and forth. This is something where you can easily incorporate a my turn, your turn type model. So you have the ball, my turn, you roll it to them, okay, your turn, my turn. While you're doing this, you are teaching children that communication is a two-way street. I'm not sure if you noticed this, but all of these nonverbal or pre-linguistic skills mirror the structure of real conversations. Think about it. Conversations require people to focus on the same thing, to take turns, to look at one another, to listen while the other person talks. And that's exactly what your child is practicing at this stage. These early social routines are laying the foundation for real, meaningful interaction. And that's what gets them ready for the next step. Understanding language. Next, children begin to understand words. So once a child is actively engaging with people and the things around them, they start to assign meaning to the sounds that they hear. This is called receptive language, and it's what your child understands. It always develops before expressive language, which is what they are actually able to say. At this level, you might notice your child starting to respond to familiar words like milk and bye-bye and no. They may begin to follow simple directions like come here, go get your shoes, or where's grandma? And they can point to her. So this stage is all about understanding, and it is a critical step. Before we can expect them to say words, they must understand the meaning of those words. As their understanding grows, words begin to emerge. Once your child understands the meaning of words, they begin to use them to express their own wants and needs and thoughts. At this stage, many children start with single words like up and go. And once they reach about 50 words, we expect to start seeing them combining words into two-word phrases. So this could look like more milk or big ball. And this is another big milestone in expressive language development because it shows that your child is beginning to understand how words fit together to form meaning. And finally, at the top of our pyramid, children begin refining their speech sounds, making their words clearer and easier to understand. This is articulation, and it continues to develop all throughout early childhood. The ability to produce different speech sounds tends to follow a general pattern, with some sounds like P, B, and M developing earlier, while others such as S, L, and R develop later. So you'll notice as children are learning to speak, a lot of times maybe only the mom or the parents can really understand their child. So what's important to remember as they're learning language is that clear speech comes last. A child needs to understand and use language before we focus too much on how clearly they're saying their words. So our building blocks of communication begin with a language-rich environment, followed by nonverbal communication, which supports receptive language, which helps produce expressive language, and very last, that cherry on top is speech or articulation. So if your child isn't talking just yet, don't panic. It might just mean they're still building the earlier layers of the pyramid. Instead of jumping straight to speech at the top, go back down to the foundation and then work your way up. Eye contact, listening, turn-taking, joint attention, understanding. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And feel free to leave a comment with any questions or ideas for future topics. I would love to hear from you.